Hi, I'm Dr. Erin Doss and I teach communication at Indiana University Kokomo. But today I am here to talk to you guys about knitting and show you how to make this dishcloth. So the first thing you need to do is gather your supplies, and you're going to need a cotton yarn. You can buy this at Walmart or JoAnn's. There are lots of places online you can get this, and it's a worsted weight 100% cotton yarn, and most people do a lot of dishcloths out of this. You also need to get some knitting needles. These, the ones I'm using, are a size 7, but you could also use an 8 or a 9. You would just end up with a looser dishcloth. You need a pair of scissors, and you're also going to need a tapestry needle, and these can be metal, plastic, bamboo, whatever you find that you can use to weave in your ends. So the first thing you do in any knitting project is cast on. So to do that, we're going to use the long tail method, which means you need to make a tail of yarn that's as long as you need to cast on the number of stitches you need. In this case, we need 4 stitches, so it can be pretty short. So you hold that yarn with the tail wrapping around your thumb and around the first finger of your left hand, and then hold both ends in your left hand. So for the first stitch, you go up to this middle bar, wrap around the loop on your thumb and hang on to that with your needle. Go over, wrap around the loop around your finger, pull it through the thumb loop, let go, and then you have your first 2 stitches. So you do the second part of that again. You go around through the thumb loop, through the loop over by your finger, pull it through, and that's 3 stitches. And then one more time, and that's the 4 stitches we need. So from there, our dishcloth is a garter stitch dishcloth, so all we're going to have to do is the knit stitch. So to do the knit stitch, you're going to insert your needle through the front of the stitch. Make sure you have the long tail that's connected to your yarn, not the little short tail. Go around and then pull that stitch through and pull the old stitch off the needle. So you go in the front of the stitch, wrap your yarn around, pull the new stitch through the old one, and slide the old one off. So you go in through the front, wrap the yarn around, pull it through, slide the old one off, in through the front, wrap it around, and then pull the old stitch off. And that's the first row of our dishcloth. So then you're always going to want your stitches that you're working in your left hand, and you work them onto the right needle. And now we need to increase. So we're starting at one corner of our dishcloth, we're going to increase out, and then we're going to decrease back in to make a square. So we're going to go again, do 2 knit stitches. So remember, we're knitting every row, and then we're going to do what's called a yarn over. So you take the yarn and wrap it around the needle, and then you knit to the end of the row. And then we're going to do that every row. So you switch hands, knit 2 stitches again, your yarn over, and then you knit to the end of the row. And you're going to do this until you have 43 stitches on your needles. We are at 43 stitches on the needle now, so it is time to start decreasing to complete the other half of the dishcloth. So to decrease, you do what's called a knit 2 together, which is just what it sounds. You knit 2 stitches together. So to do that in this pattern, you knit 1. So we're going to try to make it look like the other edge with the yarn overs. So you're going to knit 2 stitches together. So you go in the front of 2 stitches at the same time, go around and pull that stitch through just like you did for a regular knit stitch. We're still going to yarn over, so we have the little holes along the edges, and then you're going to knit 2 together again, and then knit the rest of the row all the way to the end. And you're going to do that on every row all the way down until you have decreased to the last 4 stitches. So once you have completed your dishcloth and decreased from 43 stitches all the way down to 4 stitches, you knit straight across the last row, which I already did, and then it's time to bind off. So to do that, you knit the first 2 stitches, and then you pass the first stitch over the second one and drop it off. So you have 1 stitch on the needle. You knit the 3rd stitch, and you pass the second stitch over and drop it. Then you knit the last stitch and you pass that third stitch over. Then you can pull this up a little bit and get some scissors, cut that off, and then pull the tail through. And then you can use a tapestry needle like this or one of the little metal ones to go ahead and weave your ends into the piece. And you can definitely weave it a little bit more, and there are different techniques for doing that, but once you have woven your ends in, then your dishcloth is all done. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial and will enjoy your hand knit dishcloth if you choose to make one. I know it was a really quick tutorial, so I'm going to include some links to other people who have done a great job explaining each step of the process that we talked about today. And I hope you'll try it out, because people who knit dishcloths can knit anything else they want to.